Alors, bonsoir. Bienvenue à la séance du comité de démolition de la ville de Westmount pour ce lundi 5 février 2024. Je vais demander à Councillor Bostock de proposer, s'il vous plaît. Non, excusez-moi, je suis nouvelle là-dedans. L'adoption de l'ordre du jour.
I move that the agenda of the Demolition Committee sitting of February 5, 2024 be adopted.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico. All in favor? Aye. OK, so extension de délai d'un permis de démolition pour le 45 avenue Roxborough. Conseillère Gallery.
Merci, Madame Roux. I will read the whereases in advance of the motion. So whereas on May 5th, 2022, the Demolition Committee accepted the application for authorization to demolish the building located at 45 Roxborough Avenue, resolution number 2022-05-117. Whereas said building was the subject of a transfer of ownership in September 2022, and the new owners wish to proceed with the modification of the replacement program that had been submitted at the opening of said application by the former owner. Whereas the proposed new replacement program consisting of the construction of a new two-story residential building blends in harmoniously with the surrounding area. Whereas the aforementioned replacement program was evaluated by the Planning Advisory Committee, PAC, on September 19, 2023 in the context of a request for a site planning and architectural integration program, and the PAC issued a favorable recommendation. Whereas the 12-month deadline granted by the Demolition Committee for the start of the construction of the new building, as indicated in condition number 1 of resolution number 2022-05-117, could not be met, particularly considering the transfer of ownership and the modification of the replacement program. So I move, Madame Roux, that the Demolition Committee accept the modification to the replacement program in accordance with the plans of the revised replacement program and the information submitted in demolition authorization application number 2021-00957, that an extension be granted for the start of construction of the new building, and that the construction of the building be undertaken within 12 months following the date of adoption of this resolution. And that's it.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Shammy. Everyone in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Yes. So it's now time for the question period. If there's any questions in the room, you can come up to the microphone, identify yourselves, name, address, please.
My name is Mazi Rajai. I'm the neighbor of that property. We have no information about what the plans are. We came here about a year and a half ago, and it was explained about the delay. I think the council mentioned about beautification of this piece of hall next to our property. Nothing was done. So we've been there with this demolished house next to our property. We'd like more information what is supposed to happen now.
So we have the Director of Urban Planning here with us, who I think is willing to give you a quick presentation. C'est bon, Monsieur No? Okay. Do we have any other questions in the same vein while he's getting organized?
Good evening, I'm Ron Obler. I'm a neighbor of this property in question. I'm a direct opposite, on the opposite side of the road. I don't know if any of you realize just how long this property has been empty and just what it is like living under these conditions. No beautification was made as promised by this council. There was absolutely no motion to try and accelerate it. And from what I understand, the new owners have an additional 12 months, which means that this house will perhaps not start to be built for another year. I'm trying to sell my house. Right now, 3 things are happening. Within a 1-block radius of my house, there are 9 empty houses that are not for sale. They are unoccupied and they are not for sale. I now have a house opposite me that is unknown construction. Nobody wants to buy my house knowing that there's a construction of unknown date coming through. Furthermore, it's ugly. In the summer, it looks like a trash heap. The fence is ugly, and this is not a lifestyle that I want to live. And it behooves all of you to try and understand what it's like living there this period of time. And I don't think that you guys have done what you have promised to do, which was to hold the previous owners and the current owners to make this at least a decent lifestyle site. Thank you.
Thank you. Êtes-vous prêt, Monsieur No? Ça va peut-être être encourageant. Merci.
Hello, my name is Frédéric No. I'm the director of the Urban Planning Department. I can explain the process that is going on tonight. As you know, there's a permit that was delivered for a demolition. The demolition is done, but the permit was accompanied with conditions to be observed. There were 3 conditions. First was to give a deposit to ensure that there would be a construction following the demolition. So we do have this deposit. Second, there was a delay to build back the property. There was a delay of 12 months. As you know, it's not being observed. And third, last, there's a replacement program. So a new construction permit that is required. So for the 2 of the 3, that's why we're here tonight. The actual bylaw, the actual demolition bylaw, allows an applicant to ask for a new delay. In this case, there's a new owner, so it's a little bit easier to accept, the committee to accept this this extension. And since there's a new owner, there's new plans as well. So the new owner don't want the previous approved plan. So as a new owner, he wants to build his own house. So that's why we're here tonight, to extend the delay and to approve a new plan, new construction plan.
Yes.
So the last time we came here, there was extensive show of what this house looks like. So you're saying that that's changed now?
There was a plans from the previous owner.
Right. So when is the new plans will be available for others to see what's going to be placed in that place, in that construction site?
We do have the plans.
But why is it that you're not sharing this with the neighbors and nobody seems to have access to this? Why is this? Why is that? Why is it last time we were given all this information and suddenly you're not giving this to us anymore?
We can show the plans. We can show.
Well, I mean, I don't understand. Last time there was a procedure where this was provided. We saw slides and 3D views of this and everything. Now you're saying that's not even valid anymore.
If I may, there's one big reason why the process is way shorter now, because the big issue when there's a first committee of demolition is for the demolition itself.
Okay.
This is done. So it's now just to modify the 2 of the 3 conditions that accompany the permit that was emitted.
So how does neighbors know what's going to happen here now with your new system? How does it work?
Well, it's not a new system.
But okay, well, I mean, we have a construction site. There's a house going there. Is it normal for people to know what's going to be placed next to them?
Well, as I said, we can show the plans if you, yeah? Sure. Okay.
Well, I mean, I find it strange that I have to ask. I mean, isn't it a bit weird that I mean, how do neighbors know? I mean, usually these should be a sort of an open communication of, here's something the neighbor is going to do. If you have any objections, come and give your objections here. Isn't that the?
Yeah.
Things changed now, or?
Not at all. It's just condition that we are talking about tonight. The consultation is mostly about the demolition. And as you know, the demolition is done. It's,
right.
For instance, if you have a house and want to build an addition to your house, there's no public consultation.
Correct. But that's not the case here. This is a completely brand new house.
if you want to build a completely new house without demolitions, there's no public consultation like this
see.
one. Yes,
Okay.
yes. But we can show if you want.
Well, I think I would like to see it.
Yes, you're the
Then
neighbor.
I'm gonna consult what is my next.
Just need to know how to show.
I think we are. So, Frédéric, do we do this, I'm sorry, do we do this publicly, or do you just want to do it with the neighbors afterwards when we're no longer online, or?
Share with them after.
Yeah, I can show it to you.
I'm just trying to follow chronologically. Just go through those dates again, please. Sure. The demolition permit was approved in 2022.
Sorry, I have to find it, and the light is... Oh, sorry, yeah, May 5th, 2022.
So May 5th, 2022, the demolition was approved. We all know that this house had been demolished a year before this demolition was approved. Are we all aware of this? This was an empty plot of land, dirty, filthy, abandoned, till you approved it in 2022.
Yep.
For 2022, they were given 1 year to build a new house. Is that correct?
Yes, and then the transfer of ownership was September 2022.
That's the difference.
That's the
No.
difference.
Yeah,
It was sold. That's the change.
So the new owners have now owned this property with a demolition permit that's approved, with a set of plans that's not theirs. Is that correct?
that have been modified.
Modified by them.
Correct.
Yes.
So let me understand this correctly. They modified the previous plans and they're now changing it again.
The plans came back to the Planning Advisory Committee for checks and balances on the size and scope of the project.
Their plans.
The new plans, the
The
new
new
owners,
plans.
new plans, correct.
But now we're talking about, and they've scrapped that and they're going through a new
No,
set
no,
of
no,
plans.
it's those plans,
Those plans.
yes.
So
New
from-
owners, new plans,
From September 22 till now,
yes.
what
So
what has transpired?
I believe it's gone back and forth with the Planning Advisory Committee, the Urban Planning Department, to modify, to contain, to integrate into the neighborhood. And it's been a collaborative approach and project, and I think everyone was actually very pleased with the final result. And now the hope is they get the construction started. We, like you, want
Has a
these
permit
projects to
been-
move
has a
forward.
permit been-
The
has a
original
permit-
permit,
Has a permit been issued for the plans that we're about to see?
the modifications were being approved tonight.
So the permit will be issued, after this, because you can't issue a permit without the approval of
And
council.
I'm sorry, to my neighbour's point, normally when there's a new construction, are you not required to put a photograph or some plans at the site? Has that changed?
No.
Where you used to put a new construction?
Only for demolition.
Because it was sold, it's changed the whole.
Timeline.
But it's still a new house.
Because of the.
Still a new house and after a demolition, you are not required to share with us what house is going there. We're about to approve tonight the plans of a house that nobody has, except yourselves and the committee, have had an opportunity to see, object, view. Is that correct?
You guys don't live there, we live there.
Have you driven up there, anybody?
Yes.
Have you seen what it's like up there at the moment? No lights on at night,
We
empty houses?
understand how hard that is.
It's been 4 years.
But I think this is to move it forward. This is to get it to what you
Giving them another
want.
year is not moving forward. They've had a year.
No, the last year has been in modifying the plans and meeting the PAC standards, bringing it to council. It's gone back and forth with the administration.
But
and
they have another 12 months from tonight to start
We want-
construction.
The work.
Or sell it, or delay it, or walk away. I just want to make this clear.
Let's hope
Previous
they
owners-
move this forward.
Previous owners, we all stood here, walked away, left us with a hole in the ground. These owners now have 12 months, after you've approved these plans,
Yes.
to either hold them or not hold them. I'm sorry to ask these questions.
No, I mean, I'm not an expert in this
No, but I'm
file,
saying, is
but
12 months fair for everybody around? They've
well, I
had
think
4
that's the process, and that's what we need to do to get it forward. But I will donner la parole à Maître Aronson, who...
So, this entire thing is enormously frustrating for you as the residents who have to sit there and look at this empty lot. It's enormously frustrating for our professionals who have had to deal with this same file over and over and over again. It's frustrating for the PAC, who have had to go back and forth with the new owners to adjust the plans they have proposed in order to meet the standards of the neighborhood. There isn't a single person involved in this whole process who isn't frustrated and who isn't upset that the original owners who came before this council put down a deposit and asked for permission to take down their building, and when granted that permission, abused the trust we placed in them because they just didn't move forward. I would love to be able to tell you why exactly the owners of this property decided to take down the house and then do nothing. It doesn't make any sense from an economic standpoint. Certainly doesn't make any sense from an urban planning standpoint. Doesn't make any sense from a community standpoint. But the rules by which we are governed allow people to do what they wish with their private property, even if it makes no sense at all. And in this particular case, we came to understand that there were some kind of complications with the original owner. COVID did make things much more difficult to carry out. None of that makes it any better to open your front door and look at this unpleasant sight. But that's the reality that the original owners were facing and that we all now have to deal with. When they originally asked for permission to demolish the house, that's the bylaw says, you want to take down an existing building? Well, you'd better show us what it is you intend to put up. And that's what they did. That was the process. Where I think this is getting confusing and really frustrating for everybody involved is that because the original owners put up their deposit, took down the house, did it in not exactly the best way, and then they sold it. They couldn't actually finish the project. They bit off more than they could chew. They ended up having to forfeit their deposit. Perhaps in future, we ought to ask for a much bigger deposit. Maybe we've got to look at our demolition bylaw and say, hey, you want to take down a building, we need to be absolutely certain you're going to build what you say you're going to build. But we do all have trust in each other, in our fellow residents, that they're going to act in their own and the community best interest. In this particular case, those original owners broke that trust. Now, they might have had very good reasons for it, their own personal reasons. I don't really know, and I don't, to be honest with you, I don't think any of us care why they abused the process. But they're no longer in the picture. So now we all have to fix this. And that's where we are today. Now, this is a weird situation because when the original demolition permit was given out, there was they had to fix, make legal what had been done, which is to take down this house. When the new owners bought the property, there was no house. They bought an empty lot. And the rules about what you can do with an empty lot are different than what the rules are when you have a property on it that's going to be taken away. So we're doing our very best to make sure that they move quickly and responsibly. But in the best possible scenario, even if it were theoretically possible to apparate a new house, a beautiful new house, for you to have as part of the makeup of the neighborhood, there's no way to do it. We could give them, theoretically, we give them a shorter time frame in which to begin construction, but we've also got to be realistic. If we said, look, you got to start a house in 3 months, and they failed to do it, we'd be right back here doing the same thing over and over and over again. So none of us want this to take another year. Of course not. We want that house built as fast as possible. But the law is what it is, and the standards that we have to apply have to be realistic. Now, I don't want to have a situation where a year from now you guys are back here saying, Councillor Aronson, a year ago you said, look, they're going to get started, they're going to get started. The truth of the matter is that we do have to have some trust that the new owners, once given permission to do this properly, are going to act in the best interest of you as the neighbors, as themselves as property owners, and the community as a whole. And so we're in the very uncomfortable position of having to say to you, representing people that, like, we don't really know, that we will hope that once we've given them permission, to go ahead and take the time they need to get this project done properly, that they're going to do what the original owners failed to do. And I wish I could promise you, I wish I knew for certain exactly what day they're going to start construction and what day they're going to end construction, what day they're going to hold a housewarming party and invite all their neighbors in to see the beautiful job they've done. I wish I could tell you that, but I can't. What we can do, however, is say, look, they're following the process. We are in the process, we as a council are in the process of looking at the demolition bylaw and seeing what we can improve on it. We inherited this thing just like we all inherited a neighborhood. So now we've got to make that demolition process make more sense in a reality where somebody could put down a huge deposit, take down a house, and then disappear. I understand, but I want to give you the best answer we can.
Let me just ask two more questions.
But of course,
Tonight, this house is approved, a permit is issued effectively this week? Correct?
yes.
They can start work as soon as they can. This council cannot ask them for a single date of commencing within that 12 months. As you said, what did you use the word? It was a weird situation?
It's a weird
In
situation.
a weird situation, can the council ask? I think the neighbours are entitled to know not to wait until 12 months' time. Is there something else that you can request within issuing that permit, within the bylaws? And please, can you do that? The second thing, council, before the speech, and I don't want to keep everyone here longer, I would like to remind you that the house was demolished a year, maybe 15 months prior to your demolition permit. And this council did not do anything to propagate the construction of the new house. If you remember, there was a problem. You issued a demolition permit for the top level. I remind you all, they demolished the entire house. You put a hold on the construction of that house, awaiting this demolition permit in May. So while we're all picking up the May date of 2022, I would like to remind this council that we had an obligation, or we all did, to try and move this forward with the previous owners, right? We didn't have to wait 12 to 14 months to know that they weren't going to build a house. You stopped them building that house. And yet you just
The work was stopped because it was an illegal demolition.
I understand that, don't get me wrong, but from the illegal demolition till the new demolition permit, please tell me what happened. I'll tell you what happened. Weeds grew 9 feet tall. He looks out of his window into a mess. I had to go there and clean up the grass myself in front of it. The doors kept opening and we couldn't get hold of the owners who had left Canada already to close the doors. The fence was leaving over. These were the current owners. We called City Works. City Works said, what do you want us to do? So while it's a weird situation, the reason I'm here tonight is to say, I don't think that this all went according to plan. Because this house stood empty, illegally demolished, for 15 months. I called you. We spoke.
I don't think we'll be able to answer all your questions tonight, but I'm confident we all got the message. And we can all look at how we can do it better and how we can make sure that this project goes forward properly and that you recuperate a enjoyable neighborhood.
Everything that you said, that the gentleman said, I agree with, and this, whoever purchased this land, hit COVID, we sympathize with everything, and we don't have any problem with that. We have a problem with the way the communication seems to go here. Last time we were here, we were told beautification is supposed to happen, it didn't happen. Now we're told that plans have changed, we don't even know what those plans are. We live next to this house. If there's going to be something built next to us, we have a right to know what it looks like.
I think we got, yeah, so we've got them, we understood. You've got a good point on communications. We've got to do better. And Monsieur No will be happy to share with you, as he said. So thank you for coming. Thank you for caring about our city and the neighborhood. This meeting is adjourned.
Sorry, not approving the plan.